Over my professional career, I've been fortunate enough to have roles where I got to hire my own team. Now, as a result, I've literally interviewed hundreds of applicants. One of the main things that I've learned through all these interviews is that most people don't get the job not because of competency, meaning the knowledge or the skills that they need for the role. They don't get the job because of culture fit, meaning they don't have the attitude or the demeanor that the company is looking for. Now, yes, I know there are certain roles where you need a specific certification or skills, but more times than not, attitude is more important than skills when it comes to the interviewing process. I've been in too many interviews where the applicants, they either disqualify themselves or severely hurt their chances because of things they easily could have prevented. So whether you are interviewing for jobs or you know someone who's looking for a job, here are 5 tips to help make your next interview a success. Number 1, show up early. You need to be 5 minutes early at the minimum. I would actually suggest 10 minutes early. And I would show up to the office building 15 minutes early. That way, in case you have traffic, you still show up on time and you'll be able to navigate through the building and get where you're going in plenty of time. Do not disqualify yourself because you didn't show up on time. Number 2, dress appropriately. In one of my previous roles, we interviewed high school and college students for seasonal jobs. And we specifically put on the email, dress business casual. And we explained what it was and specifically said, no jeans, no shorts. Can I tell you how many people showed up in jeans? Quite a few. They were immediately disqualified because they didn't follow the instructions and weren't dressed appropriately. If you do not know how to dress for the interview, I would encourage you, overdress. And if you want to, send an email and ask what the attire is for the interview. And don't ever show up in jeans. Okay? Leave those at home and dress appropriately for your interview. Number 3, positive attitude. When you enter into the office, you need to be smiling. You need to be enthusiastic. These are the things that separate great interviews from merely good interviews. And do not ever complain about anything. I don't care if your previous job was horrible. Don't complain about it. When you start complaining about previous jobs or former bosses, you know what the interviewer is thinking? They are thinking that if they hire you and one day in the future you leave, you're going to complain about them to somebody else. There's a way to talk about bad experiences in a positive light. You can easily say, you know what, my last job, it was a challenge, but I learned some valuable lessons and I'm grateful for that opportunity. But it just wasn't the right fit for me. You see, I didn't complain about it and I had a positive spin on it. Number 4, come prepared. You need to practice. Now, I know this is awkward, but the more you practice, the more prepared you'll be, and it'll help out with those feelings of anxiety and nerves, right? So practice in a mirror. And I would encourage you, have a friend or a family member ask you questions so that you can get prepared for the interview. I'd also say to come prepared, you need to look on their website. Come with questions ready to go to ask the interviewer. When I'm interviewing somebody and they ask relevant questions after the interview, I'm blown away by that interview. And finally, you need to bring 5 copies of your resume to come prepared. You never know how many people are going to be in that room, and you want to make sure you have enough copies. All right, number 5, our last tip. Send a thank you note afterwards. HR professionals and hiring managers, they spend a significant amount of time interviewing people. Thank them for taking the time to interview you. It will make you stand out. And I would say, do a handwritten note. Many people don't send handwritten notes anymore, and they will remember your interview as a result of that. Emails are okay, but I'd encourage you to send a handwritten note. Now, I totally understand that you could do these 5 steps and you still don't get the job. They don't guarantee that you are going to get every single job you interview for. But I will tell you this, If you do these steps, every interview you have will be a success. Interviews are a great opportunity to network, and they're a great opportunity to practice for future interviews. Plus, you never know who that interview might talk to afterwards. I can't tell you how many times that I've had somebody from another company call me up and say, Shawn, I just interviewed somebody. I don't have a spot for them on the team, but they were amazing. Do you have any roles or positions that you're looking to fill? And I've actually hired people because of that reference, because that applicant had a great interview with somebody else. All right, here's today's game plan. Very simple. I want you to update your resume. Researchers say that you should update your resume every single year. You have new projects that you've worked on, you have new skills that you develop, maybe even new certifications that you've been able to complete. You need to be prepared that at any point, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I've got a job, I think you'd be perfect at it, can we interview tomorrow? And you can go home and email them your resume with very little time spent on that. You never know when opportunities are going to rise, even if you have a secure job. So go update that resume. All right, let me leave you with our tweetable lesson. It's by John Maxwell. Your passion will have more influence than your personality.